Hello, this is Rai, commenting over the process I did to recreate the original Super Mario 64 model, but in my own style. So, pretty much here I'm starting the project by making a little sculpt of what I imagine to be Mario, like its main characteristics, his main characteristics, and well, here I immediately started modeling the mustache because it looked pretty weird without it. I think it is like its signature feature, well, apart from his little hat. But here you are going to see I'm now modeling the little seams of his overall. I'm, well, pretty much finished with the modeling with the sculpt at this point, and I am now starting with the Richapology. So pretty much these models, this little series I'm planning on doing came up from the idea of those like old videos. I think at this point they are way too old, not way too old, but like they are not in touch anymore. Of artists recreating a couple of characters like in their own style, but I don't know of any that actually made like 3D models. Most of them, for what I know, did like drawings, so I think I'm fairly original. I hope no one has done this before. So yeah, pretty much here I'm modeling the eye. I first started with that weird shape and immediately corrected for like a well, it's not a tri, it's more like a diamond shape. And here I'm, well, still moving a little bit this sculpt to make sure I get the shape as I want it. But I think at this point that was like the last trick I did to the sculpt, and from here it is only going to be full retopology. So this is going to take a while. That is something I really plan on improving in the future because I took way too long just in this phase of retopology. I think I'm getting better at it. I'm still practicing to get like actually very fast with this phase of the process, but for now, yeah, it took around 7 hours. It was a lot. I don't think 7 hours, but maybe like 5. It was a long time. So anyway, it is sped up like at 5,000 times in this video, so we don't have to worry about that. And so for me, what I think Mario makes Mario, it's pretty much it's like plushiness. If you ask me, I really loved like the old model for Mario, like in Mario 64, because it looked cute. I really liked that about the old Mario. Right now it is kind of outputting to me, the new design, how it has like those kind of the only fact that he has a month, that alone, makes it look really weird for me. I'm not a fan of the new design, like the modern Mario that appeared after, I think, Mario Sunshine. That was the first game that introduced that new design. It almost reminds me of what I'm doing here, like classic Sonic versus like the new Sonic generations. This is pretty much what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to like show off how I imagine the old Mario would look like with more topology and like, a design like that is more updated. I'm also going to use the modern color palette because I actually think that is an improvement over the previous design, like with all of those blacks and reds in the old design. I really think all of the blues introduced in the new design are way better. They're more good looking. I'm struggling a lot here with the shape of the shoe, and I really don't know how to retopology that without like adding tries. But at the end of it, I end up figuring it out, so no problems there. And here I'm already finishing by adding the final touches to the shoe. I'm just adding some details, comparing to models, and now I'm adding the seams to make the UV mapping. So since I added like a mirror modifier, I only need to squish in like a half of each UV island, so just the half of the overalls, just half of the face, and that makes it really easy to use the UVs. Here I'm finally starting with texturing. For this video I did 2 attempts to texture this model, because at first you are already noticing I was using like realistic materials. I was trying to experiment with them, but at the end I really didn't like the final result. I am still adding it just so you can see the whole process, but yeah, I really didn't like this first version. I'm adding the buttons. Just the only fact that like I'm not hand painting, because really my style is more like hand painted. The only fact that I'm like adding that with a smart material, not necessarily smart, but with reflection maps and height maps and all of that, it really makes it weird for me. Since I was going for more of a plushy style, a cute style, I really don't think it fits. Except but what I'm doing here right now, the skin I actually was proud of. I think it really looks well. It looks good enough, because for me Mario is almost like a gnome. It is like this cute old fella who it's always trying to help you. Like I don't know, maybe that vision I have of Mario, maybe it's because I grow up with him, playing its games and all, but for me that is Mario, like this benevolent little fella. So yeah, I actually like the skin because it almost makes him look like if he was like, I don't know, a gnome, a little old guy. And here I think I'm finally finished. I think I'm adding, yeah, just a little bit of illumination, ambient occlusion, like hand painted ambient occlusion, and I'm also like adding more color to the textures, because it was like it almost reminds me of a Mario from Smash Bros. Brawl. And here is the final result. Here I really overdid it with that yellow light. Also, I forgot the M of the hat. I had to add it like as a separate model. That is the reason it has bumpiness to it. And this render almost reminds me of that old Toyota ad that was that little collab that Mario Kart had with Toyota. I don't remember if it was Toyota, but yeah, I really didn't like this render, neither the textures, so I'm redoing it again here. I'm already getting rid of all of those smart materials because it is really not my style. I think I'm way better with hand-painted textures. I would love to improve with like smart materials and stuff, but for this video I was trying to actually get like my own style in Mario. So here I'm just starting with the hand paint, and if you notice, I'm only using one brush. That is the artistic brush. I think, well, I'm reading here, it has like another word I can since it is not fully shown, I can tell what is the full name of the brush, but you are already seeing. Here I for some reason changed the brush. I don't remember why. I think it was because, okay, here I rechanged to the previous one. So I'm adding shadows here. I think I really overdid with the darkness of the shadows in this first try, because they almost look like dirtiness. I think for a shadow to look well in a cartoony style, it needs to be like a very saturated blue. Obviously you're going to add like a multiply layer. I'm not sure if you can add multiply layers on Substance Painter, but what I know is that you can add like transparency, the flow of the brush, and that really helps to like not overdoing it with the shadows. You are already noticing in the shoes. I really think that is a way better result than what I was getting with a more dark blue. And here I'm adding some touches to the skin. I really I was trying to add exactly that, like a little bit of a closed eye there, but I didn't like it at the end. Here I didn't forget to add the M of Mario. That was a good thing, but I actually forgot to add little buttons to the overall, so I always manage to forget something. I don't know how I do it, but yeah, I added a little bit of an ambient occlusion to that little stamp in the hat because it looked like painted in the hat, and I wanted to it to look like a stamp. And here I think I'm almost finished. I'm adding just some colors to the eyes. I think some highlights would have helped in that one, but well, here's the final result. At the end I added like a little cell shading shader because I think it fits him really well with this hand painted style, and I'm actually pretty proud of the final result. But let me let me know what you think about this model. I'm thinking about redoing this with other characters as well, maybe Bowser. I'm really interested in Bowser because it's a character that has a lot of detail, as well as Link from The Legend of Zelda, because he also has like a lot of tools around him, and I really would love to texture that. But yep, this is the end of the video. Please let me know which characters would you like to see in the next one, or what any feedback about this model is also welcome. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one, folks. Bye bye.